It is clear that this year has taught us many things that have changed us both as individuals and as a society. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the things that have been on my mind recently, some things that I have learned from my time in lockdown and from experiencing the absolute joy that 2020 has been so far. So make sure to watch until the end. I think they're all very important, especially the last one. And if you want to see more videos on personal growth and productivity, then please make sure to subscribe down below. I make new videos every week, and turn on the post notifications so that you never miss another upload. So the first thing that I learned, and possibly the one that has made the biggest impact on me, is finally learning to accept that we're not in control of our own lives. I'm a very organized, goal-oriented, planning ahead kind of person, and this year has taught me that you can plan all you want, you can make all the right choices, and you can put measures in place to be as prepared as you possibly can for difficult times. And at the end of the day, life just happens. And it's a difficult thing to accept because there's a reason why we like to be prepared and plan ahead, and it is that the unknown can be a very scary place. It can be terrifying. And I'm not saying that we don't help shape our lives and the direction they take. Of course we do. What I'm saying is that we don't have as much control over our lives as we might think. I will for sure continue to plan ahead, be organized, and make the best choices that I can. I think we all should. But I think it's important to be aware of the limitations of these plans and decisions, and of the role that chance and things outside of our control have on our lives. And this brings me to my next point, which is that we cannot take anything for granted. If this year has taught us anything, is that what we have today, that being our freedom, our health, jobs, even our lives, can be gone tomorrow, or next month, or in the next 5 minutes. So it's very important to try to relearn or redirect the way that we think about things that we do take for granted, so that we can be more mindful and appreciative of them day to day. And another thing I have learned from this time in lockdown is the fact that time with our loved ones is precious. And again, I think we all knew this, we've all always known this, it's not news, but I think the fact that we haven't actually been able to see people for so long really made it hit home for me. And I've realized that sometimes I do take people for granted, both being able to spend time with people and actually having relationships with them, because loved ones unfortunately do come and go, and that being due to age or life events, or just because people constantly change and evolve and relationships inevitably change, we may one day realize that we don't have time left with someone anymore. So be appreciative of the people in your life, and maybe give someone you miss a call today. And again, related to this point, I think it's very important to learn to spend time alone and enjoy your own company. If you're an introvert like myself, I'm sure you'll be fine. I'm sure you'll have no problem with this whatsoever. But I know that some people have really been struggling with this during lockdown, because they do thrive from socializing and get energized by being with other people. And while we're social animals and we need socialization for healthy functioning, I think it's important to find a balance and be able to spend time alone without depending on others. Like the old saying, we're gonna be with ourselves for the rest of our lives, and sometimes we'll have to be alone, so we better get used to it and be able to do it. Another thing I've learned from my time in lockdown is the importance of feeling connected to nature. When the time you can spend outside is limited, you really start to notice how it affects your mood and your mental and physical health. Spending time in nature has actually been proven to help with mental health problems. And while in England we've been able to go outside for at least a daily walk throughout lockdown, I found myself really longing for these walks, and I've also been spending a lot more time in my garden, more than I have ever before. And relating to this, I also realized how important it is to move your body regularly. When I haven't left my house in days, I feel terrible, and I mean it. My mental health and my mood decline. I get very irritable, I feel exhausted and overwhelmed and over hungry. It's just a recipe for disaster, really, and I can start to neglect myself. So during lockdown, since I wasn't walking to and from work anymore, I had to start making an active effort to move my body. I exercised a little, but mostly what I did was just go out for daily walks, sometimes just 20 minutes, half an hour. Even if it was a very short walk, it was nice to get some fresh air and feel that I had done something good for myself. And another thing that I realized during lockdown that makes an impact on our well-being is our physical environment. It's so important to feel comfortable in the space we live in, especially if we spend a lot of time there. And while we might be limited on what we can do to improve our space, that being because we live in rented accommodation or with other people, or simply because we might not be able to suddenly spend a lot of money to just redecorate, simply getting rid of clutter and keeping our house or our room tidy and clean is the best thing you can do to feel better in your space. And maybe get a plant. Another thing I have learned the hard way during this time is the importance of slowing down and enjoying the present moment. I cannot tell you how many times I've pushed myself to be productive until I burn out. I feel guilty if I'm not being productive all the time, and sometimes this makes it difficult to actually enjoy my free time and do things just for the fun of them. However, having had more time during lockdown to reflect on this and really see how much it impacts my life, because it's not the fact that I don't have free time, it's the fact that any free time that I have, I will fill with endless to-do lists and tasks, and I'll find new projects and I'll find new things to do and fill my time with so that I feel productive all the time. I have actually been trying to be very actively mindful of my thoughts and my surroundings, and I've actually forced myself to stop being 100% of the time productive. I am working on it, but slowing down is definitely a journey for me. This brings me to my second to last point, which I think is one of the most important ones, if not the most important one of this video, and it is that self-care has to be our #1 priority. Sure, I've always known this, you've always known this, but for me it's not been until I've had to make such an active effort to take care of my well-being that I have realized how much more important self-care is than anything else. This comes of course from my very privileged position of having all my basic needs met. I have food, water, a safe place to live, a stable income, good health, a support system, all the important things. So obviously if I didn't have these, I wouldn't be saying that self-care is my #1 priority, because it wouldn't be. So I just want to be clear that I 100% acknowledge my privilege, and I hope I don't come across as entitled or ignorant in any way. My idea of self-care, however, is not face masks and bubble baths. While this might be really nice, what I understand by self-care is doing the things that we have to do to be able to take care of our future self. So eating healthy food, exercising, building an emergency fund, making dentist appointments, all the things that we don't necessarily want to do because they don't give us an immediate reward, but that we do so that our future self is safe, happy and healthy. If you're interested in this topic, let me know in the comments and I might make a whole video on this, on my idea of self-care, because I have a lot more to say about it. And the last thing that has been on my mind recently that I have learned from my time in lockdown is the importance to be kind to yourself. We tend to put a lot of pressure and expectations on ourselves and be our #1 critic. The chances are that if you're watching this video right now, you're a good person and you're doing your best. Sometimes we get lost in our endless to-do lists and we overlook our achievements, which we should really not be doing. So be mindful of that, give yourself some slack and be proud of who you have become, because you're doing great. So these are some of the things that have been on my mind recently that I have learned from lockdown. Let me know in the comments if I've missed anything that you have learned from your time in lockdown. I would love to have a chat about it. And if you want to see more personal growth and productivity videos, then make sure to subscribe down below. I make videos every week and turn on the post notifications so that you never miss another upload. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it. It really helps me out. So take care, be kind to yourself, and I'll see you next week.